Good evening everyone. As you can see, I'm joined by the very lovely Candice. We're in Hertfordshire again tonight. It's absolutely peeing it down outside. It is horrible weather. I've just left work. We're going to be exploring the ruins of Minsden Chapel. So a little abandoned chapel. Apparently it's like really haunted as well. All that sort of stuff. Candice wanted to bring a Ouija board. I said no.
I'm not wearing it loud.
No, you're not, no. Just in case, you never know. And we've got about, I think, 3/4 of a mile to walk along the Hertfordshire way to find it in this woodland, so. Should be good fun. We're going to get our waterproofs on and head off. So, you know the score. Let's go explore. Always keep a couple of umbrellas in your car. Top tip there. Okay, we've reached the woodland where the chapel ruins are, just across the fields, like literally right next to the Hertfordshire Way, which is quite convenient. There is a little wire fence going around, you can just see the post there. Shouldn't be a problem, I'm sure there's a little gap in it someone's made. Very overgrown in there, but we could just see it peering above the trees and stuff. It looks pretty cool. It looks like there's a gap here actually in the fence up ahead. Yeah, you can see where someone's made a clearing. Yeah, clearly that's our entrance in, right. Minsden Chapel is an isolated ruined chapel in the fields above the hamlet of Chapelfoot near Preston in Hertfordshire. Today it is a roofless shell, partly surrounded by a small wood and accessible only by footpath. It is a scheduled ancient monument and is Grade 2 listed. It was built in the 14th century and by the 17th century had fallen into disrepair. Marriages continued here into the 18th century until the crumbling masonry became too dangerous. One story says that a piece of falling stonework knocked the prayer book out of a curate's hand during the marriage ceremony of Enoch West and Mary Horn on the 11th of July 1738. In the 20th century, the chapel was closely associated with the historian Reginald Hine from nearby Hitchin. He frequently visited here and eventually obtained a lifetime lease of the building from the vicars of Hitchin. So fond of the chapel was he, that he even bid trespassers and sacrilegious persons to take warning, for I will proceed against them with the utmost rigour of the law, and after my death and burial I will endeavour in all ghostly ways to protect and haunt its hallowed walls. Contrary to popular belief, Hine is not buried in Minsden. His body was cremated at Golders Green in London, and his ashes were subsequently scattered at the chapel. His family erected a memorial stone at the site, which was subsequently relaid in its current grave-like horizontal position by them after it was damaged by vandals in the early 1980s. In 1907, Thomas William Latchmore, a local professional photographer and a friend of Hine, took a photograph of a ghostly monk at the chapel. Rumours of paranormal activity first appeared around this time. The haunting most frequently reported is that of a single monk climbing stairs, which no longer exist, to the northeast area of the chapel. This is said to occur at midnight on Halloween, of course. Other reported experiences include the sighting of a glowing cross on the wall and the hearing of distant music or the ringing of the stolen bells. Legends also exist of a lost subterranean tunnel built during the time of the Crusades that extends to nearby Temple Dinsley, and another of a murdered nun. In an interview given in 1930 to Elliot O'Donnell, a well-known contemporary writer on occult matters, Latchmore finally admitted that his Minsden ghost photograph was a hoax.
He explained that the picture was the deliberate result of an experiment in the techniques of double exposures, a subject that interested him greatly at the time. Although Latchmore refused to disclose the identity of the individual who had posed as the ghostly figure, it seems likely that it was a young man well known for practical jokes, Latchmore's good friend Reggie Hine. Hine republished the photograph in 1929 in his History of Hitchin, but never admitted it was a fake, nor his own part in it. Paranormal investigator Peter Underwood once spent a night there in the late 1940s, during which he claimed to have heard the sound of distant music and to have seen a white glowing cross on one of the walls, which disappeared and then reappeared, although he suggested it could possibly have been a trick of the moonlight, as a full moon was shining down through the trees at the time. The iconic arch of Minsden Chapel finally fell in 2008 due to time and erosion from the elements. In 2017, it was reported that the Church Commissioners for England, who own the site, were intending selling it to a surrounding landowner, sparking fears that the public could lose access to the site.
Looking to see if there's any potentially good spots to wild camp here as well. I thought that would be quite cool, especially for something nearing Halloween or something. As I say, there is, you know, yeah, it's got a bit of a reputation as a, I think there's like a monk that's seen here and stuff like that, the usual sort of stuff. And like apparently you can hear bells ringing and whatnot. Yeah, probably that clearing right in the middle, I suppose, would be good. Looks like there was an old sign there. This is the bulk of it really. Look at this massive archway you can see spanning over here. That's amazing. And you know, this has just been left to slowly crumble and fall into disrepair. It's not, it must have a preservation order on it or something, but they're not doing anything really to look after it, so it's amazing that it's survived. Really, really cool. Let's go through this archway back into sort of, I suppose, would have been the interior. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Would have been a very good church.
Well, no, it's a chapel, so a small chapel. They're usually a lot smaller than churches and, of course, cathedrals. That looks like a bit of dressed stone there. Might have come from it as well. And yeah, you can kind of see where the corners would have been and stuff. Yeah, you see a bit of rubbish where people have been. Oh yeah, definitely. But would you reckon wild camp here?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a tough cookie, people. She put some of you to shame, I'm telling you. Definitely no excuses, get out there and explore. This is cool. And yeah, I suppose you've got a flat bit of ground here, you could easily chuck a tent or bivvies or whatever down here. Yeah, I reckon a tent would be nice. We're just on our way out and we completely missed this. This is of real significance to this site. It's a memorial stone to, I think he's a historian, Reginald someone. I'll put more details in the video once I've done my research. He had a real fondness for this chapel and the ruins, and he was very protective of it. I think he threatened anyone that desecrated it, that he would haunt them, you know, in life or after death. And he's not actually buried here. This is just a memorial plaque. I think his ashes are scattered here. This is of real importance, so thought I'd show you it. It's really hard to read, it's really overgrown. Yes, 1883 to 1949, and then we can't read the rest. If I find a better photo of this online, I'll include it, but yeah, real importance that. And that's literally right by kind of the last fragments of wall. I think the main body of the chapel is in there where we were just now. As I say, when we come back and do a camp here, we'll have a full-on explore when the weather's better and stuff, but this was just like a little recce really, and we were just excited to get out, weren't we, and have a little butcher's. So look at her little face, she's well happy. Anyways, right, let's get back to the pub. Right, we've made it back to the car. It is still absolutely chucking it down out there. So we've got the heater on, just drying our quick drying trousers and stuff. And you know, I had some sort of spare sort of emergency stuff that I was keeping in the boot, like change of trousers for Candice and stuff. And also come across, no emergency kit is complete without emergency ciders. Get in, everyone! Taurus, it's only cheap shit, but still, Taurus dark fruit. So we sat in a pub car park under one of their lights, yeah, taking advantage. So cheers, you. Lovely jubbly, that's one of the best ones Taurus do, that. It's not bad at all. So that is the end of that little video. I hope you enjoyed watching that. Good little bit of history, and we've found a potential wild camp spot for the future then to go back to. As I say, we could fit a tent or bivvies or whatever, or even a tarp in there, and a wild camp there. Pretty cool, could be a bit eerie.
What's eerie?
That's what we like. Excellent. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Get in the comments, let us know what you think. As always, take care of yourselves, look after each other, and remember, get out there and explore. Life is far too short. See you again soon, everyone. Bye bye.